Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to All the Mods 6. So since the last episode, I've been doing a little bit of stuff around the base, and I started recording this episode only to discover that rats will not interact correctly with mystical agriculture seeds. Like, if we have the replanter upgrade, they don't replant, they just break it. And then the seeds are just left there on the ground unless I set up a rat to then collect those seeds and then replant them. My big issue with that, it would be easy enough to do, but the problem is that our rats may end up, over time, they will most likely mess up my rows, and so I will have my Inferium rows and my wood seed rows and all that will end up getting mixed up. So it would end up causing everything to be kind of a mess over here, because I kind of want to keep it in rows. And then in addition, since my rows are different crops, it's going to cause everything to kind of slow down a little bit, because they would then be placing things in, kind of a nonsense pattern, and not keeping the rows set up. So I don't want to go with that. In my test world, I did try doing a golem to harvest the stuff, because I was like, well, then we'll just use golems. That's no big deal. Golems will not harvest mystical agriculture seeds. They will not. They don't see them. They see wheat seeds and all that just fine, but these they do not interact with. So it really, as far as keeping a magical harvesting system, it came down pretty much to either going with Sylph or going with Elemental Craft. So we're going to go with the Elemental Craft, because why not? So I've got a few things prepped here. Luckily, everything that we're going to be setting up here is super cheap. Super cheap. Not really requiring much. This can be any earth gem. It can be a crude, for example. So that's not too difficult. The planting shrine, also super cheap. And then, of course, just some basic stuff here. So for our actual harvesting, we are going to be going with this. Now, let me get, this will work for now. Let's go ahead and basically the harvester, it has to harvest blocks beneath it. And it's counting this as the block, above the farmland. So it would have to go right in here for the harvest shrine to get these to harvest. So just a heads up there. I'm going to go ahead and put these on. And these, I did test them just to make sure that they interfaced with mystical agriculture, and they do interface just fine. So we're going to be going with that for our harvesting method. And then our planting shrine upgrade, this of course is going to plant back the harvested crops, basically breaking it but instantly replanting. So we are still going to get fertilized essence, we are still going to get seeds. I think for this setup, we're just going to trash those because we have them coming in. I don't need them. There is the seed reprocessor, but realistically, 2 extra essence every time you get a seed, it really doesn't add up that much, and I just don't care. I usually don't care about the seed reprocessor because it's just not all that beneficial. But we are going to attach this then onto the bottom there of the harvest shrine. This is going to increase our element consumption by 200%, but we're dealing with mystical agriculture. These crops grow slow, and the actual cost per break of the harvest shrine isn't all that much anyways. So I think we should be all right to use it this way. So, and then on top, we're going to put our element containers. Just right onto there. Now we are going to have to run down some pipes like so. And so we're just going to, actually maybe not right there. Let's do it here instead. And then here. And then on this one we'll just go with like right there. I'm not going to set those to extract though just yet until we do get the collection in place. Now on top we are going to put our extractor. Now I have an idea. These aren't just going, well, they kind of aren't going to just be floating here, but they sort of are. But I do have an idea of how we're going to lay these out so that they look nice. I mean, at the end of the day, they're going to have to pretty much float there. There's only so much I can do to make these look nice, but I think we can pull it off. So Now I need to get basically 2 more. I need to go break those. I cannot stand when Apotheosis is left unconfigured and they just grow to build height. It drives me insane. But we're going to head out somewhere that maybe has... Actually, I think this will be a terrible place for it. Because I think we've actually checked that one out. Hey, look at that. Perfect. This is Kirklore. I'll come back here in just a little bit. But we're going to go ahead and get some essence collecting going on this. I do have all of this chunk loaded already. Let me double check just to make sure. Okay, yeah, that's the chunk where the rats crafting tables are set up. Like I said, I started recording and I set that up during that bit of recording, and then it was like, oh, rats aren't going to be able to harvest this for us. But that's fine. Like I had said, I do want to move away from using rats too extensively within the series. We are still going to be using them for this setup. But we are probably going to be using them quite a bit less than other options as we move forward. They are still a lot more accessible than golems. I mean, I like golems. They're great. But at the same time, they are a bit expensive. Rats, they can't handle as many kind of commands, you know, per rat, but they're also basically almost free. Their upgrades are cheap for the most part, except for like battle upgrades and respawn upgrades and some things like that. And I do still kind of want to keep with the theme, because at the end of the day, it is a kitchen sink pack. Doing rats instead of going with tech crafters or golem crafters or anything like that, it's not really going to change our progression. It's just going to be a little bit different in the way that we go about things. So, okay, now we have earth being generated by all of these, and if we were to set these to extract, they would then be able to start harvesting our crops here. So that will be good. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and set up our rats. And I had actually, during the first recording, I had found the ideal place for the range. This will be pretty easy for us to set up. Let's go ahead and get a whitelist upgrade. Let's get 2, 3, 4. 4 would cover our main crops. We'll need a 5th one for cleanup, and we'll need a 6th one for Inferium, because we are going to be harvesting the Inferium. It doesn't relate to our setup today, so I can do that at any point, but these are cheap upgrades, so we will probably go ahead and set up Inferium Farming. Now, the way that we're going to handle this, there's a couple different ways that we could. I think what we're going to do, though, is have a midpoint chest, or a few midpoint chests, because if you recall, the rats, they cannot extract from drawers for starters. So we definitely want to avoid using drawers for something that they're going to have to turn around and extract from. So we'll just go ahead. We'll use a few more rats for this setup for moving our items, but that'll be fine. That'll just be more movement, I suppose. And on that note, I guess it probably would be worth it to set maybe the chests up here, and then they would have to run across the field to take the items over, just so that we do have more movement in this system. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to... let's see. We want to keep our rats from getting stuck, but we also don't want to block that area too much. We can do a little kind of open area with just like some pillars. Maybe set up, say, right in here. Yeah, that should be fine. Even if it blocks that a little bit, that's okay, because I'm actually planning on bringing this out and expanding it out in that direction as well. So we end up having this big kind of section of the swamp that's dedicated to peat farming. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a few chests here. We're going to go like that and like that. And then what's it take to make a trash can? I know I've got one over there. I mean, we could use this for creating extra garbage passively. That actually might not be a bad idea, to be honest. Let's do that, because we can use additional garbage, and it's going to get us more rat tails, or, you know, allow us to spawn that boss and get more rat tails. So And that garbage is going to be a lot more beneficial to us than seeds. Now, technically, we could get better output if we ran those seeds through the seed reprocessor because it's going to double the value of those seeds. However, once again, it's really not, honestly, probably worth the hassle, to be honest. So let's just go right here. Yeah, that'll be fine. So I will need to make 2 more whitelist upgrades. So, but let's go ahead and configure our first rat. Actually throw most of these back for just a moment, just to free up my inventory. We are going to be picking up coal seeds, as well as dirt, inferium, fertilized essence, nature, and wood. All 5 of these and the fertilized essence. And this is just going to be our trash pickup rat. So pick up all these things, and we'll just throw that in there. We're going to, let's go ahead and just grab this rat. And we'll set him up over here. And let's tell him that, let's grab this and this. And we're going to say that, you know, right here will be your home. That's fine. And your area, the perfect spot to get the least amount of excess space and still cover the entire farm actually is right here. So we're going to go ahead and tell him that this is the origin and it's a radius of 11. Because you'll notice that this is actually going to come out to just past this side. It's going to come out to kind of just past this side. I mean, it's a couple extra blocks, but that's fine. It comes out just past this side, and it comes out just past this side. And that way, if items do get thrown out of this area, those rats can still pick it up. So always worth giving it kind of an extra block, maybe 2, for it to check to find those dropped items. So you're going to be set to that, and you are going to be told to gather items, and then you are going to deposit them into that trash can right there. Okay, so just to make sure that he is working, let's go ahead, toss those seeds down. He grabs them and takes them. Oh, and I'm going to put a platter upgrade onto him also. Though, no, it actually probably isn't necessary for him because it's not like seeds are going to be getting dropped 9 at a time. Seeds are like, what, maybe a 10% chance, and I think fertilized essence is like 5% chance. 10% chance. So, no, I think we'll be alright. So now, let's go ahead and set up our other rats. These are going to be collecting the other stuff. They're going to be collecting dirt and wood and coal and nature. So we'll just go ahead and configure our whitelist real quick. Get these set up. And then the collection should be in place for us. We still have to set up the trash can. Oh, this one was already configured from before. Okay, so you are going to have the, say, dirt. Right over here will be your home point. Let's say here. And you are going to be, your origin's going to be right there. Okay, and you're going to gather items. And then we're going to do the same thing with all of these. I'm not going to do all these on camera because it's pretty straightforward. Oh, and I should probably set their chests up. So we're going to say that this one deposits items there. This one deposits items here. All of our rats should be configured now. So it'll be those 4 right there. And once this starts harvesting, these should get to work. So, okay, now I'm going to need 2 more whitelist upgrades real quick, because if we're going to have this harvesting, by the way, these harvesters, even though it doesn't say what the harvest size is, one put in the middle like this will comfortably harvest a 9x9 without any range upgrades. So just a heads up there if you're wondering about the size that they can harvest. By the way, this temple, great place to get XP. You can see I jumped up to a level 110. That was just by going by my rat farm. That place tends to have a literal ton of XP. I need to get some XP collection actually up and going for that. Let's go ahead and configure our other 2 rats for collection. This one right here is going to be, let's say, collecting garbage. And so we'll say that right here is going to be your home point. You are going to set the radius to there. And let's turn this radius down. It really doesn't need to check a big space. Like, honestly, 6 blocks is going to be more than enough, probably. Let's go down. Oh, that's 5. Let's go to, like, 4. I always hate trying to set these up. Yep, that's still not what I'm telling you to do. There we go. We'll go like that for the radius. Now, as far as where to deposit, I am going to need to make a couple drawers real quick. And we'll just have the drawers set up like here and here, for example, is fine. We'll go ahead and say that you can deposit items into there. So that one's going to be garbage. And then this rat, you are going to be collecting Inferium essence. And let me go ahead and set this one to gather the items. You're going to be collecting Inferium. That's going to be your home point. And you are going to deposit items into there. Let's grab it. And it's going to check the same area as our other farming collection rats. And so we'll say that you are going to gather items. Okay, now at this point, all of our rats should be configured. So we have a total of, 7 rats kind of managing this field. So not too bad. And then we can just go ahead and tell this to extract. Extract, you can hear it's starting to break things. It's actually giving me items here. And go. Go. I may have to actually restart in order for our rats to start working. Let me do that real quick. So, are they going to work? That one's going somewhere. Looks like they are. Yeah, they're working. You can see the rats moving around. Now, we could do platter upgrades at this point. Honestly, not a bad idea. Wonder why. There you go. Okay. Those probably have not gotten anything to break that they need. Probably just now. I bet they're wanting nature essence and coal essence. No, it's wood and coal. Okay. We'll give those... oh, they're set to stay here. That's why. Gather. And gather. Okay. Now, I do have some platter upgrades made. I don't know that necessarily we really need platter upgrades. You can see that they're clearing this farm out. And once this gets up and rolling, we shouldn't have too much of a concern with it kind of being like this. You can see that they're getting this farm cleared out. And then it's going to be kind of a steady growth thing. It's not going to be like just constantly breaking, because remember that mystical agriculture, even once we get up to having like insanium farmland across the board, the speed of growth still isn't going to be fast enough to necessitate that. And if we expand out with more farms, which we probably will do, those will be managed by just different rats. So I think this will be good for us. Now, we've already gotten 2 garbage piles. We've got 27 Inferium in there. And you can see our coal essence, our dirt essence, our wood essence, and our nature essence building up at this point. But actually, platter upgrades probably wouldn't do much with these anyways, because of the fact that unless the items stack on the ground, they're still going to get them one at a time. Because as soon as they pick something up, they then just kind of set off and focus on depositing it before they pick up anything else. So maybe once we have like higher tier farmlands that produce like, well, we're probably going to go straight for Insanium because there's really no reason not to. Maybe then when we're producing multiple crops per harvest, maybe then platter upgrades will be useful. But I think for now this will be fine. Alright, looks like they've pretty much cleaned up. It seemed like they weren't collecting over here, like some of them had stopped, but it seemed like maybe it was just due to just there being so much essence on the ground at that point. So they were waiting, probably because they were having issues scanning that area, to be honest. We did only get 24 coal essence, but remember that we only have 1 line of coal to every 2 lines of everything else. So our numbers do look pretty good, I think. Okay, so that's working, and this is just going to passively collect, and you can see we are still setting good on this. Honestly, probably just a normal element collector, maybe not even having an improved one, would probably be fine, but I'm going to stick with the improved one. And I don't think we'll need anything like speed or range or anything like that on these. Okay, so now at this point, what we are going to do is we need to set up these. I'm not going to worry about stockpiling much out of this except for maybe peat. Like the finished peat. And if something happens and these end up getting moved, they shouldn't. You know, our other crafting rats over in the temple, they've never been moved. They've pretty much stayed exactly where they're at perfectly. So I don't think we'll have to worry about it too much. But remember that there is the chance that something could potentially move these off of their crafting tables. So we're going to go ahead and say, this is your home point. And your home point. And your home point. Okay, now let's go ahead and get ourselves our golem that we built a few episodes back. Of course, this one has 4 bits of speed and 4 bits of more pickup. You should be alright if I just push you into the water there. And come on and follow me. And this one has 2 grabber arms. So there's one part of my setup I'm still debating on how I want to do it. So we might end up making another golem. And if we do, we'll make one out of gold. Because that is going to complete a task for us for mana and artifice as well. But let's go ahead and tell him to just hang out right here. And let's pop over. I need to make a lodestar real fast. There we go. And then let me also... I think I've still got some locations over here in this chest that I never cleaned up. I do. Only 3 though. I'll need more than that. I'll have to make some more. That's fine. Okay, now this golem, let's put his lodestar in, say right here will be fine. Yeah, we'll do it right there. We're going to say that your first task is going to be take items from container, and then take items from container, and then place items into container. And what we're going to do is, the first thing that we're going to be making requires wood essence and coal essence. So we're going to go ahead and snag this chest right there, and this chest right over here. And then these are going to go in there and there. And then we're going to be depositing items into this container. And then just in case like he couldn't put the coal and the wood into there, what we're going to do then is have another marker that's basically saying, like, just in case, you're going to come over here and you're going to be dropping items there. Okay, so if he has anything left over at that point, then he's just going to drop it. So then we're going to go ahead and tell him to start working. He's going to go over there and get some coal. He's going to get some wood. He's going to bring it over and deposit it right there. Was he just spade? Was he not any carry capacity? I'm feeling like he wasn't. Maybe I didn't put any carry capacity, which is fine because remember that these seeds don't grow all that fast. Now down the road, if we find maybe we want more carry capacity, we'll make another golem because we'll be using more of these grabber golems anyways. Actually, we could just remake him. So charcoal's being created. Now the next thing, I'm going to need more marking runes. So let me go get those real quick. We need to actually upgrade our rune forges as well. Which is something that we haven't done as of yet. We can use those chimerite crystals to give some effects to our rune forges. We'll get into that probably here pretty soon. And the next recipe we're going to be setting up is going to be podzol. So 4 dirt and 1 nature for that. So let's go ahead, grab this. You can see he's actually drained out all of this chest. And he's working on the wood right now. So I think him not having a bunch of speed, at least at the moment, until we get better farmland, honestly, I think that's going to be okay for us. So, let me make some of this podzol. The nice thing is all this stuff kind of crafts in bulk. We'll go ahead and put it into there. That's the recipe that we want. Let's see if this is done smelting now. No, it is still smelting. This stuff takes forever. We're going to have to upgrade these. I can't remember exactly what... Runeforge upgrade right here. Let's see. Red, yellow, or orange crystals will apply an ore doubling effect if there are 2 of them. So that's basically free ore doubling right there. White, cyan, blue, or light blue will cause the forge to repair items put into it, though it will attempt to smelt them first. And I don't remember what the... I thought there was speed. It might just be the other ones. So maybe if we went with like pink or purple or something like that. These are insanely slow. I need to keep this stuff made up. But you can see wood essence, coal essence have piled up in here. Charcoal's capped out there. And our rats are working perfectly. How much? We have 4 garbage piles. We have over a stack of Inferium. Oh yeah, this is going to build up quick. Well, while that stuff's running, we can go ahead and set up maybe the next steps here. For the saplings, we're going to be doing, I think, oak saplings. Because realistically, that's plenty for our needs. Nature and wood, in this case. Let's go ahead and make ourselves some oak saplings. This crafting table is going to be making oak. So, I'm just going to store these away for now. Because we don't need those. But we have 13 marking runes now. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to be taking, placing, and dropping once again. And in this case, it'll be the second crafting table here. It's going to be dirt, and it's going to be nature. So let's go ahead. I guess there's nothing for him to get. Yeah. So he's just basically cycling back and forth. Nature, you can grab it from there. And dirt, you can grab it from there. You're going to be dropping right there, and you're going to be depositing right there. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just configure this, and bear in mind that we can filter, but we don't really need to in this case. Placing there and dropping there. So there we go. He's going to get back to work. I think I'm going to like the speed. I think he'll be able to keep up all right. Why are you doing that? You shouldn't be doing that. No, I have it backwards. That's why. I need you to drop there, place items in there. Whoops. That would be the reason. So now he should get the correct essence and bring it over to this crafting table and actually deposit it this time. There we go. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing once again. In this case, it's going to be wood. It's going to be nature. I really need to label these, I think. But that one is wood. And I think this one is nature. Okay, so you're going to grab there. You're going to drop there. And you're going to deposit there. Okay. So, take, place, drop. You're going to take from chest. You're going to take from chest. And bear in mind that you can say block at position when set grass block. I just wasn't paying attention before. But there we go. And now he should start getting the stuff and taking it over to here, which will get that rat crafting. Now there is going to come a point, because there is some overlap, right? This one takes wood essence. This one takes nature essence. So if all the wood essence is in here or all the nature essence is in here, these rats may get backed up. But if that does happen, what's going to eventually happen is probably we're going to have so much peat coming in that it's it's not going to be getting used fast enough. That's the goal anyways. And so this stuff will inevitably back up, especially once we move up to premium farmland. We should be good on that. So you are depositing. Perfect. Now this last crafting table is going to be used to create our biomass. Now we are still going to need to actually craft the peat bog, so we'll probably have to set up another crafter. Actually, we can just go ahead and do that. We'll put another one in right here, I think, once we get up to that step. But this peat bog is going to be a little bit more involved to craft. Since it does require leaves, flowers, and saplings. It requires all those things to craft that. Okay, and then we're going to have that golem handle one more thing here. Let's go ahead. Is that the... No, I thought I had another thing here. Let's get our munch stew and our mana pool. And as time goes on, we may add additional munch stews. We'll see. But let me just... We're not going to keep this set up. Let me just take this. Or no, let me... Yeah, I'll just take this one. I think we'll be okay without it. Let's go ahead and set ourselves up a munch stew. We're going to have our spreader be here. Actually, can I upgrade that to an elven spreader? And that way this will just be able to work a little bit faster for us. We're going to have... Yeah, this should be fine right here. And then that way, when we walk through, coming from this side, because I'm thinking we'll bring the road through here, and we'll be able to walk right up through here, out to the peat farm, and we'll kind of pass this little mana system that's going to be over here. But let's go ahead and put in our munch stew right there. Oh wow, it's getting leaves from way over there right now. And I imagine, yeah, the Elven Mana Spreader can handle the munch stew, no problem whatsoever. And the only time that its cooldown is going to come up is when it's actually out of leaves to eat, like right now. And we got actually quite a bit of mana from that. So what we're going to do, we are going to have to set up wood collection, like to break the wood, and we're gonna handle that. I'm thinking this is probably going to be a two-part thing. There's a lot of parts to this, so it probably will end up as a two-part episode. So just a forewarning on that. We'll kind of have part one, which is getting all this stuff, and then part two, which is kind of the rest of the Britannia stuff and the peat power generation and all that. But let's go ahead and we are going to set up one more thing here. He's creating saplings right here. So what we're going to do is, honestly, a drawer would be better for this. And the reason being is because there may come a point, there probably will come a point when we are backed up on saplings. So what we'll do is we'll have a drawer, and then that drawer will then feed into the chest. So this will be for access for, well then again, if we use golems to move the saplings, then we should be good. Yeah, so, because golems can access the drawers, it's just the rats that can't. So we'll have a drawer here, probably end up setting up a drawer controller, because this is going to have saplings, it's going to have charcoal and podzol. Let me go ahead and just do that real quick. Okay, so what we're going to do is, let's tell our golem friend that he is going to, actually let me pause him for just a moment here. But we're going to tell him that you're going to take item, and then you are going to place block at position. I don't know, I think we could probably pull this off with plant crops, because that way we can, yeah, let's try that. And then you're going to place item into container. And that's going to be the last of what he handles, because this is already 14, 15, 16. I don't think I can do the next. I might be able to do the next part that I want to do. We'll see. But what he's going to do, which we don't have the wood cutting in place, so it's going to back up here shortly. But what he's going to do is he's going... Oops. Keep doing that. He is going to, for his take item, Let me get 2 of these. For his take item, this is going to be here for that location. And we're going to say that you're going to take item there, oak sapling. And then you're going to take item here, oak sapling. And then you are going to plant crops. And it's going to be in an area basically right back here. It's going to be from like, let's go here all the way to like here. So you can plant your saplings that you pick up in that general vicinity, somewhere in there, you know. So we'll go ahead, and he should plant the stuff that he has in hand. And then he's going to place items in case there's saplings left over, because until we get growth speed, which we will be adding some growth speed to this, probably with elemental craft, but I don't have that crafted at the moment. But you're going to then, if you have saplings left over, just take them back over here and deposit it back into here. And then that should be good. So let's go ahead and reactivate him. Oh, and he put it back. I need to have him plant, I guess, twice. Looks like our Inferium rat is still getting stuck. It's like he gets here and he's just like, I have no clue what to do. And he's got to be pushed. Yeah, I may end up moving that drawer because it seems like he gets stuck real bad. Sometimes he goes through. If I put something over these, he would probably be okay. So I may end up just putting something over this. And hoping that the terrible pathfinding of our golem, speaking of, the terrible pathfinding of our golem and our rats don't cause issue. But let's take there. This may not be exactly the same, but we'll see. To there. We'll just go ahead and configure this back real quick. Can I get you to... You're too fast. Let's go ahead and add one more planting command and then place items in the containers. And this is the drawer controller there. And then we'll put these into there. That should get him working a bit better. No, I want you. And after a while, of course, these trees will grow. I'm going to go ahead and chop this down just to get it out of the way. And let's go ahead and remove that also. Now, of course, the way that the munchdew works is it only eats the leaves, so we are going to have to add wood breaking, but we are going to add that. It's not all that difficult. Just basically something that comes through and says, okay, there's wood here. The munchdew is going to grab those leaves pretty quickly, so we don't really have to worry too much about it, because it's going to eat them and consume them fairly quickly. Probably faster, maybe, than like a lumberjack, golem, or rat probably would. There we go. He's working great. Okay, this rat is stuck again. What I'm going to do at this point, I think, is move this drawer because it is causing a whole lot of headache for us. I think it has to do with the fact that these aren't full block spaces, and then when they're on the chest, they act up. The trash rat seems fine. You can see we have 7 garbage piles at the moment, so I think what I might do is just have the Inferium drawer be right here, and then just tell this rat that it is depositing there. Yeah, he seems to be working a bit better now. This route, I guess, doesn't have any issue because he's accessing it generally, I think, from this other side, because they do have a pretty decent range for inserting. So I think this will be fine for us. He still has amassed a decent amount of Inferium, but he has been getting stuck a lot lately. So, all right. That is working well. Yeah, it looks like the range on this one's probably one more, because he planted that one there and then came over here to fill this in. But, yeah, so that's working. And then once these grow, the munchdew, I don't have any bone meal on me, but the munchdew is going to immediately eat them. Another nice thing about oak trees compared to some other trees is they can have other saplings planted right next to them and not cause any issues for them. So, but yeah, so for example, if that one gets grown, that munchdew is going to immediately just consume it. for us. And there we go. It's going to generate a bunch of mana. Now, right now, of course, I have to come back through and just break these myself. But once we get the breaking in place, then we'll let that handle it. I've got a couple ideas on how I want to handle that. But it shouldn't be too bad for us. So at this point, we have that stuff for the biomass. We still have to get our flowers, which we already have that set up, of course, over there with the mystical agriculture. We just have to handle harvesting it, which is fairly easy to do. There's a couple ways that we could do that too, so I may have to figure out how I want to do that. Also, I need to test and see what the best method for it is going to be, actually. Since we do have these tall flowers being grown, I'm going to play around with it and see which method. I mean, worst comes to worst, if we don't have a really good method for harvesting the tall ones, we will still get these smaller ones, but I'd like to get full effect from this. The tall ones, we're going to have to... I don't think I can actually use those for making peat, though, right? I think it has to be the single flowers for peat. Or for the biomass. Yeah, it looks like it has to be the singles. Is there a way that we can turn... no, it looks like not. We can't turn the too tall into singles, but that's fine. So yeah, I'd like to be able to harvest those just so that way we have those for our personal needs. But like I said, I think it's going to be a two-part episode. I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode. So we are going to end this one out here. So next episode then, when we come back, we can quickly set this up. This is actually going to be super easy. It's basically tied into that. Looks like it's breaking leaves over there right now. We already have the saplings, and we just need to set up our harvesting system, which is going to be extremely easy, probably, for the flowers. And then at that point, we will have... everything we need to create half stacks of the dry peat bog. And then it's actually a very, very simple system. This part is actually the worst as far as just the amount of moving parts. The peat system is actually going to be super easy to set up. It's just a couple things that we have to put in place. And then we are going to be processing that peat a little bit further, because once we get the saturated peat, then we have to smelt it to get the peat. And then we need to run it through solidification with biomass, which we can get from melting. So we are going to be setting that up. There's a couple different recipes here for the melting. So, and then we'll set up that, and that way we can get the better version of the peat, which is going to increase our output from that enriched peat. It's going to create more power for us in our peat generators. So, but anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode. So I'm going to end it out here. Probably between episodes, I'll probably build out a little bit of this space, so that it'll just be a little bit nicer for us setting this up. And then we'll get the last bits of this. Pretty big setup here. But like I said, I think it's going to be an interesting, fun way for us to generate power that's a bit more interesting than going with something like a standard tech method or something like solar panels or something like that. So... but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then. By the way, this is like literally right after I cut, but I want to show you guys when we get a tree like this is actually extremely good for the munch dew, because now that we have that Elven Mana Spreader, it doesn't hold back our munch dew whatsoever, and we can actually generate a lot of mana from a single tree, but it doesn't hold back our munch dew, and it can just pretty much eat that. You can see our mana jumped up right there. The munch dew actually generates a massive amount of mana per tree. It's just getting it set up. Sometimes it can take a little bit of setup, but it's actually not too bad. So, but anyways, I'll see you guys next time.